Hi everyone, welcome back to Art. This week I have a challenge for you, a creativity challenge. To be creative means you're coming up with your own ideas and solutions, and I'm excited to see how you're going to be creative with this project. So my challenge for you is I want you to start with a paper towel roll or some other kind of tube, and I want you to turn it into something new. That's the only part of the challenge. You get to pick what you turn it into. You get to pick what you do to the tube to change it. The only other rule I have is that you cannot do the same thing as me. If you turn in the same thing as me, you're not going to get points for this week because I am grading that you have been creative. And if you're just copying me, that's not really being creative. So, first, let me show you, if you don't have a paper towel roll, you could use other kind of tubes. Maybe you have a toilet paper roll. Maybe you have, I don't remember what was on this, but this is a little bit thicker. This might have had some kind of like vinyl on it for another project. It's okay if the roll has writing on it. Maybe you got something in the mail that came in a tube like this. You might have a large one that used to have wrapping paper on it. That's fine. If you cannot find any of these, I suppose you could also take a piece of paper and roll it into a tube, either staple it or glue it or tape it. Or something so that it stays in a tube. But you are starting with some kind of tube, paper towel roll, toilet paper roll, wrapping paper roll, or a paper tube you make on your own, and you're turning it into something new. You could cut the tube to change it and turn it into something new. You could color or paint on it. You could wrap things around it. You could add more than one paper tube. Whatever you want to turn it into something new. Now, I made two projects just to give you two different ideas, but remember, you cannot copy my ideas. So here is my first creation. I took a tube and I wrapped it in tin foil so that it would be shiny. I cut from the tin foil a little bit to make this crown. I folded some tin foil and glued it to make these arms, and then I decorated it with some permanent marker. So this is like my evil robot king that I made. So while you can't do the same thing as me, you could use the same materials. If you like how I use tin foil, you could still use tin foil. You just would not make an evil robot king like I did. The other thing I did with my tubes is I cut them into pieces, so I kind of cut around so they made these spirals, and then I glued them to some pipe cleaners that I had twisted all around so that I could wear it like a really crazy headband or hat. That piece is sticking up. So this is another thing I did. I started with a paper towel roll. I actually used one paper towel roll and one roll from toilet paper, so you can see those are a little shorter. I cut them and then glued them to make a crazy headband or hat. So those were my two ideas and how I was creative with a paper towel roll. You only need to do one thing with your paper towel roll or other kind of roll, but remember, don't copy me. You can use whatever other materials you want to use. You can use more than one paper tube if you need to. You can cut, you can glue, you can paint, you can color, and any other thing that you can think of to turn your tube into something new. I can't wait to see your creative ideas.